Have you ever finally had time to relax? Maybe your work is done, the house is quiet, nothing urgent needs your attention. And yet, instead of feeling peaceful, you feel restless. You reach for your phone. You start thinking about everything you still need to do. You feel slightly anxious, or maybe you even feel guilty for doing nothing. If that sounds familiar, you're definitely not alone. Because one of the biggest misconceptions about relaxation is that everyone naturally knows how to do it. But what if relaxing doesn't feel safe to your nervous system? What if the reason you struggle to slow down isn't laziness, lack of discipline, or an inability to meditate, but a pattern that has been building inside you for years? In this video, I want to explore why rest can sometimes feel uncomfortable, why so many people live in a constant state of doing, and what I've observed over the years that has completely changed the way I understand relaxation. Many people tell themselves they want more rest. They dream about having fewer responsibilities, fewer obligations, and more free time. But then something interesting happens. They finally get a free afternoon, and within 20 minutes, they're cleaning the kitchen, answering emails, organizing a drawer, scrolling social media, or finding something else to do. The body is physically resting, but the mind keeps moving. The nervous system keeps moving, and often people don't even notice it because being busy has become normal. In many cultures, productivity is almost treated like a measure of worth. People ask, "What have you been doing?" Not, "How have you been feeling?" Not, "Have you been taking care of yourself?" Many of us learned very early that being useful, productive, responsible, or successful brings approval. And over time, doing becomes connected to safety. Without realizing it, we start believing that slowing down is dangerous. One of the concepts that helped me understand this much better is something called hypervigilance. Hypervigilance simply means that your system is constantly scanning for what might go wrong. Sometimes this develops because of difficult experiences, sometimes because of stress, sometimes because you grew up in an environment where you always needed to pay attention to other people's emotions, moods, or expectations. The nervous system learns: stay alert, stay prepared, don't let your guard down. The challenge is that relaxation requires the opposite. Relaxation requires trust, it requires letting go of control, it requires allowing yourself to stop monitoring everything. And for someone whose system has learned that constant alertness equals safety, that can feel surprisingly uncomfortable. Have you ever noticed that sometimes the moment you finally sit down, your mind suddenly becomes louder? That isn't necessarily because something is wrong. Sometimes it's because there's finally enough silence for you to notice what was already there. This is actually something I have observed many times over the years in my work as a Tantra massage therapist. People often imagine that receiving relaxation is easy. They think the difficult part is giving, but very often the opposite is true. One of the things I frequently notice is how challenging it can be for someone to simply receive, to lie down, to let go, to not manage the experience, to not anticipate what comes next, to not stay mentally busy. Especially in the beginning of a session, many women arrive carrying the momentum of their entire week. Their body is on the massage table, but part of their attention is still at work, still solving problems, still planning, still taking care of everyone else. And what's fascinating is that this isn't usually a conscious choice. It's simply what their nervous system has become accustomed to doing. For some people, rest feels natural. For others, rest feels unfamiliar. And unfamiliar can feel unsafe. Another layer that often appears is guilt. Many people can easily give rest to others. They encourage friends to take breaks. They tell loved ones to slow down. They understand intellectually that rest is important. Yet, when it comes to themselves, the rules suddenly change. Now, rest must be earned. Now, there must be a reason. Now, there must be permission. And if there isn't, guilt appears. Maybe you've heard thoughts like, I should be doing something productive. I haven't done enough yet. I'll relax later. The problem is that later often never arrives. Because if your self worth is connected to achievement, there will always be another task waiting. There will always be another reason to postpone receiving. And eventually your body starts paying the price. Not because you're weak, but because human beings were never designed to remain in a constant state of effort. I think one of the most surprising insights is that relaxation is not simply the absence of activity, it's the presence of safety. A person can spend an entire evening on the couch and still not feel relaxed. Meanwhile, someone else can sit quietly for 10 minutes and feel deeply restored. The difference is not always what they're doing, the difference is what their nervous system believes. Does it feel safe to stop? Does it feel safe to receive? Does it feel safe to not be productive for a while? These questions often go much deeper than people initially realize. Because learning to relax is not always about finding better relaxation techniques. Sometimes it's about gently teaching your system that it no longer has to stay on guard all the time. So I'd like to leave you with a question. The next time you find yourself unable to relax, instead of judging yourself, becoming frustrated, or forcing yourself to calm down, pause for a moment and ask yourself, what if my restlessness is not a failure? What if it's simply a nervous system that has learned to stay alert? And what might happen if I approach that part of myself with curiosity instead of criticism? Because sometimes the path toward relaxation doesn't begin with trying harder to relax. Sometimes it begins with understanding why relaxing feels difficult in the first place. If this video resonated with you, you may also be interested in my free receiving pattern quiz and accompanying ebook. They can help you better understand some of the hidden beliefs, habits, and protective strategies that may make receiving support, care, appreciation, intimacy, or even rest more difficult than it needs to be. You can download them through the link below the video. And if you'd like to continue exploring topics such as receiving, self-worth, embodiment, emotional awareness, trust, and authentic connection, you'll also find an invitation there to join the free Tantra Topics community. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoy these conversations, feel free to like, subscribe, and join me again in the next video.